I've been with CompUSA for 14 and a half years, and I have tremendous pride for what we've built and all that we've done over those years. However, we have a great challenge ahead of us today. CompUSA has been just surviving on break-even performance for the past few years, while our competitors are growing stronger. We are here to thrive, not just survive. The market and customer needs have changed a lot since our years of rapid growth, and we need to change too. We need to transform CompUSA into a tough competitor prepared to thrive and prosper today and into the future. We're in the process of launching the next phase of growth for CompUSA. It will mean a transformation in our company, a transformation in the way we serve our customers, and most difficult, a transformation in how and what each of us do every single day at CompUSA. In order to make the CompUSA transformation a reality, we brought together over 150 company leaders to provide analysis and input into the shaping of the strategy, values, and transformation initiatives. We took a very critical look at ourselves. The good news is that we are positioned in multi-billion-dollar markets for computers, peripheral products, consumer electronics, and other products as well. Today we're about a $4 billion player in a total $330 billion market. We have a lot of room to grow. At the same time, the $330 billion market is occupied by some very tough competitors, so it won't be an easy journey. The data showed us rated by customers as the lowest in many critical areas, including price perception and even in technical knowledge. If we're going to be successful moving forward, we need to shore up our weaknesses right now. We also saw that there are some unique opportunities for us in the areas of home office and small business customers, and in growing certain high-profit categories like accessories. We shared ideas, debated key points, and ultimately came to agreement on the path forward. Through our work together, the leadership team has developed and committed to a strategic focus, values, and set of transformation initiatives for the company to implement. We're convinced that these elements will position CompUSA as a winner in the market. For the strategy, I'd like everyone to understand two specific points. First, we need to defend our core business. Today, our core business is centered around computers and related products for consumers. In a space we used to own, we are now competing with mass merchants, aggressive consumer electronics retailers like Best Buy and Fry's, office supply stores, and club stores. We need to win back our position as the leader in this space. Second, we have a long history of serving business customers. This is a high-growth market area that will be an important part of our future growth. In the past, we've treated this as a separate business from our stores. To truly embrace these customers, we need to better serve them by integrating all of CompUSA's distribution channels and services, including our retail channel, commercial sales, e-commerce, and our technical services. In the same way we built the strategy, we also worked with the leadership team to define a set of values to support the transformation we're driving towards. There are two types of values: those that are fundamental to being a good person, which are a basic expectation of all of us. But what we focused on were a second type of values, those values that are needed to make the necessary shift in our day-to-day behavior if we are going to realize future business success. I'd like to take a few minutes to talk about these values that we are embracing and why they are so important to us. Customer first. To transform our business, we're going to have to place our customers above everything else we do. The customer always has to be taking a higher priority in what we do than the tasks that we perform, and treating our customers as we would want to be treated, taking the time to ensure that every customer feels the value of the CompUSA experience, and lastly, keeping the customer in mind in everything that we do. Respect. We need to show respect for ourselves and the people we work with. We need to always conduct ourselves with professionalism and integrity. We always treat each other, customers and suppliers, with dignity and, of course, common courtesy. We must work to make each other successful in our jobs, our careers, and in life. And we have to conduct business with inclusion and collaboration by listening to and valuing each person's unique contributions. Passion to succeed. While we haven't necessarily always acted in alignment toward the right things, the team here at CompUSA has always had a lot of passion. We must work as one team with a passion to succeed and a commitment to be the best at what we do. We will focus and follow through on being truly great at the few things that will ensure our success. We need to motivate through inspired leadership and positive reinforcement. We should always drive our decisions based on data analysis and rigorous planning. And we must ensure that every person understands their role in the success of the company. The work of defining the strategy and values for CompUSA is one of my primary responsibilities. Think of these strategies and values as the tip of an arrow, and to make the greatest impact, we need to have the arrowhead sharp and pointed in the right direction. Next, each of us is a role just behind the arrowhead. We are a part of the arrow shaft that keeps it true and on target. Tony Weiss, our president and COO, has the primary responsibility for all of the operational work we do and making sure it is clearly aligned to our corporate direction. Before Tony introduces you to the process we'll use for aligning all of our work, I'd like to leave you with the following call to action. Get engaged in the process and step up and be a leader at whatever you do.
Our company was built on entrepreneurial spirit and growth that was faster than any of us could imagine. Today, the market has changed. Customers are smarter and more informed. There are many new competitors, and vendors and retailers alike are finding it harder to make money. The environment is much more demanding. We've become good at a lot of things, but great at none. Our culture has been one where fire, ready, aim was the way we did things. It served us well in the heyday, but not anymore. Our execution needs to be more than that. It needs to be planned, more focused, and have follow-through. We need to use fact-based decision-making in everything we do. Back in March at the National Sales Conference in Las Vegas, I introduced Desero Partners. Desero is the consultant assisting CompUSA in a process called Accelerated Corporate Transformation, or ACT.
To help us, we've engaged Desero Partners, a premier consulting company, to assist us in moving our mission from just words to crystallizing our strategy and helping us achieve our objectives. Whether you're a cashier, a salesperson, a general sales manager, a merchant, or an officer in the company, each person will have a core set of things that they're going to focus on.
We've been working through the process for the last 4 months and have made great progress so far in truly confronting reality, understanding more about our customers and competitors, and defining our direction. This process will also continue into the next year and become simply the way we run our business over time. I'll let the team from Desero describe in more detail the key elements of their process that everyone should understand.
It's been a pleasure to work with the new executive leaders of CompUSA in planning the launch of the transformation of the company. We've made a lot of progress, and it's now time to bring aboard the leaders at all levels in the company. The methodology selected to launch the next phase in the company is called ACT, or Accelerated Corporate Transformation. This methodology has a long track record of success in helping executive leaders accelerate the transformation of their companies. The origins of ACT may be traced back to a program I chaired at the Harvard Business School in the early 1980s. I invited CEOs from the Fortune 500 companies to apply by identifying the major challenge confronting their company. CEOs were selected into the program based on the magnitude of the challenges they were facing, and then they were allowed to bring members of their management team with them. After spending 2 weeks on campus working on action plans, the CEOs and their teams returned home to implement their own corporate transformation effort. 9 months later, they all returned to the Harvard campus to debrief on progress and shortfalls and begin a replanning process. Over several years of this innovative program, I was able to distill some fundamental lessons about what worked and what did not. These lessons became the foundations of the accelerated corporate transformation process. The Harvard program also led to corporate transformation engagements with newly appointed CEOs at leading companies such as GE and Rockwell International. In these early interventions, the primary elements of ACT were focus and execution. Later, culture change and employee work innovation elements were added, and several years of application of ACT at Silicon Valley companies where cycle times were dramatically dropping and a full-scale war for talent was raging, the elements of speed and employee engagement were added. By the time ACT was being deployed to transform companies like IBM Global Services and Office Depot a few years ago, a comprehensive but streamlined version of the methodology had emerged. As a result of this evolution, ACT now consists of 4 primary elements. The first is focus, which enables a leadership team to concentrate the entire organization on a limited set of transformation initiatives. The second element of the ACT process is speed, which enables the leadership team to quickly achieve alignment among all the subunits in the company. The third element, engagement, involves a high engagement, all-employee cascade that builds understanding, accountability, and commitment at all levels in the company. And the final element, execution, puts in place a disciplined monitoring, measurement, and adjustment process to ensure quantum improvements in business performance, culture change, and other important transformation initiatives. The whole process looks like this. It starts with a compressed series of planning and launch steps called the assess, focus, and align engage phases, which are usually completed within the first 4 to 6 months. Then the process shifts into an execution phase, which involves a series of quarterly checkpoints. At each checkpoint, a rigorous assessment of progress is conducted at corporate and divisional levels for each transformation initiative. Best practices are shared across the organization and from external perspectives. Commitments to mid-course adjustments are made to close gaps and accelerate performance. And finally, a mini cascade involving all employees is conducted to inform them about progress and to help them make timely mid-course adjustments. In addition, as the green arrow shows, capability development projects, which are underway but perhaps not quite ready for company-wide implementation, are coordinated along with the major transformation initiatives in the blue arrow. The overall result is to dramatically raise the level of energy and focus on the transformation challenge and the initiatives throughout the company, and simultaneously to accelerate the achievement of the targeted business performance improvements and culture changes. The whole front-end process is boiled down into a simple, powerful set of transformation elements, which are summarized in the red arrow. The elements in the top of the arrow define what the leadership team desires to achieve with the transformation. The bottom of the arrow shows how the company is going to be focused to achieve these desired outcomes. It's anchored by a few transformation initiatives, which in turn are translated into goals and metrics, and eventually into individual commitments made by everybody in the company. The ACT process follows the maxim, let's first sharpen the strategic arrow and then put all of the wood behind it. Before explaining the Cascade process that gets this job done, let me say a word or two about the transformation initiatives and how they relate to the leadership challenge of corporate transformation. A successful ACT intervention depends on being able to sort through the myriad of current corporate initiatives to distill a limited set of initiatives that will be targeted for quantum change in a short period of time. It is not that all the other initiatives are unimportant. Rather, if we want to accelerate the transformation of the company, we must pick a few initiatives to heavily resource in order to achieve dramatic results in a compressed time frame. In instances of corporate transformation, the challenge is to select and focus on 3, no more than 4 corporate-wide initiatives. Moreover, these initiatives need to be balanced. Some need to focus on performance improvements, and others need to focus on culture change. In effect, leaders of corporate transformations need to deliver new business performance and champion the new culture in order to be successful. Simply pressing for quantum improvements in performance without making needed changes in the way decisions are made and in the way work is done will not result in corporate transformation. Likewise, simply changing work behaviors and processes without a strong focus on business performance improvement will fail the corporate transformation challenge. So transformation leaders, and that means you, must commit to and stick to achieving a balanced set of initiatives if the transformation of your company is to be successful. Once senior leaders of a firm have laid the tracks for transformation, their job becomes one of creating leaders, not followers, at all levels in the company. To accomplish this, they need to supercharge the corporate transformation effort by launching a high engagement, all-employee Cascade. The Cascade is launched right after all the major subunits have completed their alignment to the corporate transformation initiatives. The Cascades roll out within each major subunit. Each Cascade meeting covers all of the basic transformation constructs, one at a time. After each element is introduced, supervisors sitting at tables with their direct reports share their own commitments to the transformation initiatives and corporate values, before having the team members engage in a dialogue to discover what commitments they need to make to support the transformation. When the Cascade meeting is over, employees have a few days to refine commitments before getting sign-offs from their supervisors. Then they, in turn, lead their direct reports through a similar process at the next level Cascade. By following these simple, well-defined steps in the ACT process, Corporate leaders in a variety of sectors and facing very different challenges have been able over the past 2 decades to successfully and reliably transform their companies. Now let me turn to Mike Kanazawa, my colleague at Desiro Partners, who will reveal how the ACT process has been tailored to the challenges you face at CompUSA.
This chart represents the launch phase of the ACT process, which began in early April. As pre-work, we conducted executive interviews to get a grounding on the company beliefs and views about the strategy and the organization's readiness for change. At the same time, we worked with a few people to gather as much data as possible about the customer needs, the competitive environment, and the company's performance. On April 22nd, we went through a first step of confronting reality. At that point, we went over the results of the executive interviews and strategic analysis and identified the biggest gaps and opportunities to address. From there, we created teams to further analyze the most strategic issues facing the company that required more analysis to be able to make decisions. On May 21st, the senior team met again, this time to hear readouts from the strategic issues teams and to talk about refinements to the company's strategy. We also opened a dialogue about the values required for the company to succeed. Finally, we identified an initial set of initiatives to focus the operations and execution throughout the company. From May 21st to June 7th, we worked on cross-functional teams on operationalizing the transformation initiatives and setting clear goals and metrics to be met within specified timeframes. On June 8th, we met with the extended leadership team, the top 150 leaders in the company, and presented them with the work done to date. We gathered feedback and got them involved in the refinement of the strategy, the values, and the transformation initiatives. Then, on June 30th, after integrating the feedback, the senior leadership team met one more time to finalize the strategy, values, and transformation initiatives. Following that meeting, the senior team worked on developing their own personal commitments to action and behavior change commitments to the values. We're now ready for August 6th, when we'll meet again with the extended leadership team to begin the Cascades, the process to communicate the direction and align the priorities and goals and set individual commitments throughout the company. The Cascades will involve every person in the company by early September. In short, over a 4-month period, we confronted reality, charted a course and direction, and focused the organization on a few critical initiatives, and are now about to engage the entire team in developing execution plans that are aligned to ensure the success of CompUSA. It is important to note that this is not a one-time event. Once the Cascades are completed, the transformation is really just getting launched. The Cascades should be viewed as a beginning of the journey, not the top of the mountain. On October 19th, we'll gather the extended leadership team again to take a look at what is working, what's not working, and what needs adjustments. We'll use this meeting as a chance to share best practices across teams and to stay focused on the commitments to action that each of us has set. The meeting will be followed by a mini version of a Cascade so that every person in the company knows what progress is being made and why any course corrections are necessary. On January 25th, we'll have another extended leadership team meeting. This will be to measure our performance in 2004 and to launch 2005. This will be followed by a cascade of the 2005 commitments to action. At least once a year, the strategy, values, and transformation initiatives will be looked at to see if any course corrections are needed. None of these will ever be written in stone. These are all living and evolving elements of the business and will be addressed through an ongoing process. Overall, we'll end up being on an annual planning cycle with quarterly checkpoints. Also, there are several longer-term gaps in development opportunities that will continue to be addressed throughout the process. These include things that we know we need to improve overall, including alignment of compensation with the company direction, long-term strategy, leadership development, and following a planning cycle and process to stay focused with follow-through. The process is not an overlay to your real job or day job. It simply is going to become the way that CompUSA will do planning, priority setting, and drive execution on a day-to-day basis. Transformations and revolutions are built on long and tenacious runs by leaders who have a long-term vision of a very different view of the world. Although, from the outside, revolutions can look like overnight events, it is almost never a big bang, one-time effort. This transformation of CompUSA will take a lot of energy and engagement over a sustained period of time, as you've seen by the previous process charts. Also, organizations always mirror their leadership, both good and bad. So there is a real responsibility that all leaders at CompUSA have to model the leadership behaviors necessary to transform the company in a very active way. It won't be good enough to merely allow this to happen or even just to manage through the meetings and go through the motions. The only way to get the people around you to change is to change yourself as a leader. The successful and sustained transformation effort will call out each leader throughout the company to engage and take an active role in making this happen. There's a long road ahead, and we look forward to working with you in implementing the ACT process and launching the transformation of CompUSA.
As you can see, we're dedicated to a long-term effort to transform our company through rigorous planning, focus, alignment, follow-through, and total engagement. When we get everyone working in a common direction, we can definitely achieve excellence. So how do we get all 15,000 of us working in a common direction? How do we operationalize these plans? This cascade process of aligning goals and commitments started with the development of a small set of transformation initiatives and corporate-level commitments to action. This will continue as a two-way dialogue and commitment process that I'll describe in a minute. The transformation initiatives were developed in the same way as the strategy and values, with a lot of teamwork and diligent but rapid analysis. The first is customer focus. Become the first choice for technology by focusing on what our customers' wants and needs. We have to put the customer first. We need to stop getting caught up in all the operational functions and concentrate on what our customers' needs are. Second is winning culture. CompUSA will be a great place to work where team members are educated, encouraged, and empowered to reach their personal best and their professional potential. Our team members are the foundation of CompUSA. We need to provide each person with the tools, motivation, and resources needed to succeed. It is a given in order for us to be successful. Our culture has to encourage growth. Third is profitable growth. We have to transform CompUSA into a highly profitable growth company by designing and implementing a long-term financial model that aligns with the company's strategy. The first two initiatives are key to succeeding at this initiative. We will not be profitable without being customer-focused or without having a winning culture. In addition, we need to have a strategy and financial model that ensures future growth and then execute in a big way that enables our profitability. As you can see, the transformation initiatives line up with both the values and strategic direction. We have brought everyone together in these Cascade meetings not to tell people what to do, but to make them part of the transformation process. Our goal is to make sure that everyone understands where we are taking the company and what the company is focused on. You will each be briefed on the transformation initiatives in more detail and get a chance to see the commitments your leaders have made. Then it is up to each of you individually to work with your leader to develop the most high-impact commitments to action you can make to help ensure our success. This is not additional work to what you're already doing. It should be a realignment and reprioritization of everything that you do. This is what Larry and I have done and will be necessary throughout the company. The commitments to action you'll be making today are going to become part of the performance measurements for the success for each individual in our company, which will drive performance reviews, career development, and compensation. We are committed to following through with the quarterly checkpoints to measure progress, share the best practices, and make any necessary course corrections. So don't view this as a one-time event. This is a launching point for the next phase at CompUSA. It's an ongoing way of doing business. With your support, this will be the next major step in making our revolution in the store a reality. So at your meeting today, get engaged, learn, and have fun with the process.